What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. It's Ronald Kabang, also known as Youcapper from Sportsmemo.com and at @you_capper on Twitter. Obviously, we got a couple guys here on the panel. I think we might get a couple more later on as the show goes, but we got Chris in the building. We also got Munaf in the building. He's been having a great week with us so far last week. Hopefully, we continue to do that as we continue to bring more guys on the panel, get more angles, get more takes. Like I said, this Less Cap show is more about us as a community, not really us just giving out picks. We want to do this together and win together. So hopefully we just continue to go in that direction. Guys, we this weekend, man, I went low volume. It's the holidays. It's tough to really put a lot of time and effort into capping these games. So I really appreciate Let's Cap because we're able to do that together while we break down games. How was your guys' weekend?
Weekend, it was all right, man. Like you mentioned, it wasn't a lot of action for me either at a family wedding this weekend, so I wasn't really paying a lot of attention to the NBA. I know we had a lot of conversations about the people being on the Chicago Bulls yesterday, but
Yeah.
they're officially on the hell no list for sure, guys.
Mama, hell no. How you give us? Was it 66% from the field? That's just
Yeah.
that's just wild. Chris, how was your weekend? Oh, he dropped. He probably tried to talk. He's on the road anyway. It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, I know, man, I went 2-1 on the weekend in the NBA. Really low volume. It's just family coming over, coming through and traveling and
Yeah.
all that stuff and all holidays. And there's Chris. But yeah, so not high volume, but definitely good to be on the positive side through the weekend. So Chris, I know you dropped out, but what was you saying?
Yeah, no, my fault. Actually, I hit the wrong button in the car today. But it was a pretty good weekend. I bounced back Friday. I know I was on the show. I gave out a couple losers. Portland got smacked up
Yeah.
pretty bad on Friday in Dallas. But the weekend was pretty good. I went 4-2 over the weekend, so it wasn't too bad of a weekend. Like you said, just trying to be selective with our spots. There's a lot of manipulation of the injury report. These
Yeah.
players are also human, and they're trying to figure things out for themselves as well, and not just solely concentrate on basketball when you get paid millions of dollars, and got all this money. So, yeah, always enjoy the show though, RC. Appreciate you having me on. Just trying to, like you said, break it down together, get everybody some cash, man.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part is like what said right here says, Friday got spanked and it's all about how you come back, right? You want to make sure you keep your head level and pick your right spots to come back. You don't want to try and grab everything all back in one day after having one bad day. So yeah, well, with that said, guys, let's get into the slate here. I didn't really to me is more so I had the triple double show. I focused on three specific games, and the one that I liked the best really was just the Bucks Pelicans one. It's a high, it's gonna be one of the top matchups of the day. But for the most part, we know that the Bucks struggle on the road, and obviously the home road splits are important. And one thing that I noticed on the Pelican side is that their offense doesn't really change too much offensively on the home and road splits, but it's their defense. Somehow their defense is just like ridiculous at home. So that's why I focus more so on the Bucks team total under, right? Like I don't really care who wins or covers at this point. We just want to make sure that some of the trends continue the same way, right? They're not gonna go out like they're not gonna go off offensively, but also the Pelicans are gonna continue to play strong defense off first game home off a road trip, which is typically something we like to fade. What are you guys' thoughts on this one? Did you guys have any trends or any angles on that game?
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Chris.
Munaf, I can start. Yeah, I was gonna say I can start Munaf, because I also played the under RC for the full game, the under 228 in that game. So I like that we were at least looking in the right direction for sure. Before I talk to you about it, so one of the things that I looked at RC was, and you could pull this up, like this is something that we could create for the Pelicans to support your side, RC. 4-1 to the under traveling from road to home. So
Yeah, I
when
saw
they're
that.
when they're planning road games and they're making it back home.
Mhm.
Those games are those team totals for the opponent are going under in their spot. Also, just off a loss in general, RC, typically they go back to their bread and butter, which is to be able to play some defense. I also
Mhm.
feel like it's kind of needed, not from an SDQL angle, but it's kind of needed when you're without your all your offensive guys. So we see it a lot with some of these guys, some of these teams that have superstars out. It makes them rely a little bit more on the defense. So without having Brandon Ingram, he's already been rolled out today. I think it's his 11th game in a row. that he's not playing, it makes me look towards the under even more. So those were just some trends. I got 4-1 RC to the under traveling from road to home. I also got the Pelicans 2-0 to the under after a previous away loss when their next game is at home. 4-2 to the under versus teams with a 60% win percentage or better. And then I also got RC looking at like NBA.com advanced stats. They also the Pelicans play at a slower pace at home than they do on the road. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is that when you think about matchup wise, this is something that kind of makes me think about Munaf, because I know he takes these things into consideration. The Pelicans, the Bucks actually give up the 6th fewest points in the paint, and the Pelicans average the 3rd. So this is going to be 2 conflicting styles of play, right? You got a lot of big boys down there, from Brook Lopez to Giannis to Bobby Portis. On the opposite side, Jonas Valanciunas, guys like, I know Larry Nance, I think, is listed as out in this one, but Zion, so it's a lot of big bodies in this one. I think all of that kind of leads me towards an under in this game. I see the Pelicans scored the 5th most points off turnovers, but the Bucks only give up the 2nd fewest points allowed off turnovers as well. So I see defense being played in this one. Also, last point, RC, is that the Bucks were absolutely dominated in a game that you called correctly and talked me on to last week against the Memphis Grizzlies. The last time they had a home game, last time they had a road game. So I think they come back with some kind of defensive effort in this spot. I also love that the Pelicans lost on Saturday, because I love backing teams thinking that they're going to play defense. Coach Willie Green, I listened to the post-game interview, and he talked a lot about how he could be a lot better, just making sure his guys were in the right spot. I look for them to come out motivated. Typically, that translates to defense. Both of these teams playing off 1 day's rest as well, RC, typically leads towards unders, versus no day's rest, typically leading to overs. So I like the under full game, RC. I couldn't talk you off either one of these team totals under as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it's funny because you said you before the show, you were like, I don't think I got anything to add. That's a good point. That what he mentioned, that's something that you bring up a lot too in some of your breakdowns, is sort of the matchup, right? The point he mentioned, the points in the paint there, and how that counter the not counterbalance, but like one team scores a lot of points in the paint, but one team limits that. And we know the struggles on the Bucks side here, on the offensive side of the ball on the road. That's gonna be like, I feel like that's one where it seems like I don't know. That's why I was looking at their team total, right? Because it's more so that I need to just know what they can control on the defensive side of the ball and on the offensive side of the ball for the Bucks. This is just one where I kind of want to stay away from the side here. Did you have a look on this one at all?
I didn't have a look on the side here, but I agree with everything you guys are saying about this under in this game. And you mentioned it, that both these teams are well above league, or the Bucks are at least well above league average, ranked number 5 as far as points is allowed inside the paint, right? And that's something that the New Orleans Pelicans do very well, where they rank number 3 in points scored inside the paint. And I think we had talked about this last week as well, right, guys, that the Bucks offense is is the worst on the road over the last 10 games, where they have an offensive rating of 103.5. Where at home, they have the best offensive rating over the last 10 games. And defensively, they've been very good on the road over the last 10 games as well, where they have a defensive rating, of 107.3, which ranks number 4 out of the 30 teams in the NBA. So, and again, I think the Pelicans also have the length and the bodies to really kind of build that wall for Giannis when he's attacking the basket, whether it's Valanciunas, whether it's Herb Jones, whether it's even Zion as well. I think that offense could be at a premium tonight. I think will be, just looking at all the defensive numbers for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think this number is a tad bit high. I'd probably see this number ending up around the 220s mark versus where it's currently sitting. I think the best number you can get right now for the under, I'm looking at the screen, is probably 228.5 right now. So I agree with you guys.
Yeah, so here's a couple of things that I looked at on the what up, Austin? Thanks for joining us today.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. So the one thing that I was looking at here, so I mentioned the Bucks offensive struggles here on the road. You can see their average 104.7 there, and then we go back to what some of the things that Chris said, right? Just the Pelicans off of a loss. they're only allowing 108.7, and then even the one that he mentioned earlier, which is a home game off of a road game where they're 1-4 ATS, they're allowing 108 per game. The Bucks team total is at 114.5, and that's the way that I was going. And then the other thing to note here, if we go back to the Bucks on the road, we continue to say that they struggle on the road offensively, right? And primarily we're looking at the under, but if you look at the spread, so obviously the Bucks are not going to be this bad on the road as far as covering the spreads. But if we focus in more so, we go to them as road favorites. Right? They're 6-3 straight up, 3-4-2 ATS, 8-1 to the under. But we look at the lines here as the favorites. Look at all the short numbers is the ones that they're covering, and the bigger ones is the one that they're not on the road. So I would probably look towards the Bucks probably playing a little bit better, maybe on both sides of the ball, but I still don't think that they're going to get above the 114.5 just because of how good the Pelicans are defensively. And that's why it's really just a whole bunch of mixed signals as far as the side goes. And that's really why I want to focus in on that Bucks team total. Austin, did you have anything on this one before we move on to the next game?
Yeah, I'm glad I jumped in on this one because, one of my favorite systems is on the under here. And it's really when two elite teams play each other, teams that have a winning percentage of 60% that play each other. Those marquee games tend to go under. And yes, it's a little stronger towards the end of the season as the playoffs are inching closer and, these teams are jockeying for playoff position. But hey, it's also strong throughout, throughout the season as well. These teams come up, get up to play in these marquee games. The defensive intensity is high, and we tend to see more unders. Now, I will say that they've been going over more often than under this year, but historically, dating back to 2015, they've been hitting unders at a 57% rate. So a good bet there with the unders. I also want to make a note here that when these elite teams face each other this season, I just made a note here. I ran the query here. Teams 60% win percentage and over when they face each other. The home team is 28-15 against the spread this season. So just an interesting tidbit to note there.
28-15 to the home team?
Yep, to the home team.
Nice. Okay. Pelicans. So that's what I'm saying. Mixed signals there. For the most part, you see. Let me just go back to 2022. So you can see that trend that Austin just brought up is historically towards the under. Obviously, you see the over here more so this season. But even in these unders, you can see that the road team here actually has quite a few under team totals. So I think I'm still gonna stick with that with the Bucks team total under there, and hopefully the trend continues and goes back to the old ways of going under on this trend. Specifically,
my number is at a 221, so I was with you with the number you arrived at.
Yeah,
awesome.
And RC, quickly before we move on, I think there's only been 2 games for the Bucks this season on the road where they're actually gone over that number of 115, I believe. I think they did against OKC. I think the other one, I forgot which other game it was.
Yeah, you're right. They went. I think if I remember correctly,
that was OT, right?
Did go. Yeah, they went to OT. They did go over in regulation on this one, though.
Okay.
I remember that one.
So just 2 games.
Exactly, and then this one's tight. So for the most part, they are going under that team total. And so I like that look a lot, guys. Let's see what's mine. Okay, I'm gonna pull Chris out. Is he still on there?
Yeah, he's still on the screen.
Okay, out there. All right, so I'm gonna pull Chris off. He got on the call. All right, so next up, anyone in the chats, you guys got a game that to look at? Or actually, you know what? Let's go through how we did it the other day. Kind of go through what you guys are liking so far. Munaf, what's one of your favorite plays today?
Yeah, I think we're talking about this in the chat. And I know Austin will be in attendance tonight as well. I really like the Rockets here tonight. They've been playing pretty good basketball over the past couple of weeks, especially at home. I know we talked about a lot how the first 10 to 15 games were very heavy on the road for them. When they're back at home, they're on this homestand. these two teams recently matched up, I think, a couple weeks ago, where I believe the Rockets were favored in that game, I think, by 2 points. And they just didn't come out and play very well. Keldon Johnson had a big game in that game for the Spurs where he dropped 32 points. I don't think he's going to play here tonight. He's dealing with a back issue. The latest injury report did say he did not participate in shoot around, but even if he is able to go in this game, I think he might be a little bit compromised, especially when you're, trying to shoot and have a back issue. But the Rockets, Wham has been on this as well with the first half for the Rockets. I know they took an L against the Portland Trailblazers. I know that was a tricky spot for the Rockets because the Blazers were coming off that blowout loss against the Dallas Mavericks on the back-to-back, and their starters didn't play a lot of minutes. But you kind of go through the game log there, man. They've been covering the spread at home. Jalen Green definitely plays a lot better at home versus the road. Şengün had a big game against the Spurs in their last game where he did post a double-double. That was at a plus 200 price. I think it's still at that number if you want to get down a Şengün double-double prop here tonight as well. And again, the Rockets at home so far this season, if you just look at their spread numbers, they are 7-4-2 at home. They're 7-4-2 at both ways as a home underdog and at home overall. And I just like the way they've been playing basketball. I think Austin can agree that. I think Jabari Smith has been really getting better each and every game throughout this rookie campaign so far, especially on the defensive side of the basketball. We saw what he did against Giannis when the Bucks came to town. The Rockets beat that team as well. So I think this is a good revenge spot for the Rockets. Without Keldon Johnson, I'm assuming he's not going to play in this game. I like the Rockets to come out and take care of business here tonight, whether they can go first half or full game.
Yeah, what are your thoughts? You're going to the game, Austin?
Yeah, I'll be at the game, so I'll be rooting for him there. So
are you gonna be courtside again?
Yeah, I got the floor seats. So
man, this guy living the life out there.
Yeah.
Do you have a take on this one?
I mean, Munaf said it perfectly. I mean, a perfect revenge spot. The Rockets are great at home. Yeah, I just want to touch on Jabari Smith. I was a little iffy about him at the beginning of the season. The shot selection was a little bit shaky there, and he wasn't hitting those threes, but now he's really gaining some confidence, and I really like what he's bringing to the defensive side of the basketball. So no, I like their play at home. They've gotten some really great wins lately against the 76ers, the Bucks, the Suns twice. I mean, just really impressive play at home. And look, I'm a little biased here, but I think the Rockets come out and I think they take care of business. The revenge spot, playing well at home. They're 10-3 in the first half at home. So a really good spot there. I'm on the first half. And I think I may.
What is it? -2?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
-2.5 is what I saw. But there may be some -2s out there, I hope.
You took the full game Munaf on this one?
I'm leaning more towards the first half as well with Austin. Okay. If you're able to find it, I think 2.5, I think they'll be up at least by 2 possessions at halftime. They just come out. They've came out and played very well in their home game specifically, and I think that's going to carry over here tonight as well. Again, expect him to, again, like we talked about, it's a revenge spot for them after that loss they had in San Antonio, I think a week or two back. Expect Jalen Green to get cooking early, Jabari to knock down his shots as well. I like it, man. I like the first half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the one that jacked me up that game, because I was like, I like the Rockets in this game. I remember this game specifically. Yeah. I did bet the Rockets on this one. That kind of messed me up, and that's why I was thinking about staying away from this one. But I think, if I remember correctly, they did cover that first half, even though they didn't cover the full game. I think I feel like that was what the.
I think that was just a bad spot for the Rockets too. They just got off that double overtime win against the 76ers, just sort of a letdown spot there against the Spurs. I think now, and they were on the road for that game, so now they're at home.
You're right. They did have a double.
I think a little bounce back revenge spot is in the Rockets' favor here.
I might ride with you guys on that Rockets first half. Let me see. You guys put me on this site here, so. Spread first half. Did it matter if it was at home or not?
They're especially good at home.
At home, yeah.
And
they were up by 3 at the half against the Spurs in San Antonio.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like that look. I might ride with you guys on that one. That first half Rockets. Oh, there you go. We got another buddy in here. What up, man?
What's up, fellas? I hear you guys talking about it. It has
Hey,
to be at home, bro.
we
It has to be at home, bro.
We talked about Jabari the man's here.
Yeah, talk about it, Wham. I know
Oof.
you. Is that Jabari wagon, right? Is that what it is?
Hey man, listen, we gotta talk about that though, because obviously Jabari's been doing his thing, but you guys were talking about the first half though, at the house, man. That's what it is. They are pretty legit, and another team I want to talk about in the first half that's pretty legit is the Kings, but we'll talk about that then. But
Yeah, we'll probably talk about that next because I want to talk about that game too as well. Right, go ahead.
But Jabari, bro, is it a wagon? Because I know you guys have like a little secret wagon, and it's a girl on Twitter. I know I don't want to talk about that because I think I'm a little confused with that. But yes, man, it's been cashing though, man. I mean, it hasn't been cashing over the last few days, but I mean, you guys do this for a living, bro. I mean, do we go away from it just because it hasn't cashed the last few times, and it's going against a team that's pretty inferior, that's going to give up points? I think we got to go back to it today.
Yeah, so let's see. Let's look at this then. So we want to look at what they allow as far as 3-pointers, right?
Yeah, they're 22nd in the league, and opponents. Actually, no, I'm sorry.
Wrong thing. The Spurs are number 30, dead last, 39%.
Dead last.
Here it is.
39%.
Exactly. So they don't defend the three well at all. And obviously, I think Houston will probably try to push the pace here. And so their average 3-pointers allowed will probably go up a little bit from what they have, 32.6. I think if we look at where is scoring 3-point attempts, where's the 3-point attempts for the actual team?
So I know that the San Antonio are allowing the 22nd most 3-point makes at 12.8, and their opponents are 32 3-point attempts for the season. No, that's for the season.
Yeah, so they allow 32. The Houston Rockets, they shoot 34.6. They probably do better at home as well. So I could definitely see like you said, right? It's one of those things where you kind of just go back to it. You got to pick your spots. You don't just because it didn't hit the last couple times or whatever, you come to a spot where it's actually like on the positive side for the most part, right? They're facing a team that allows teams to shoot at a high rate. That would be the spot to come back on. So that makes a lot of sense. Any other looks? I feel like I'm gonna ride with you guys on that Rockets first half. I think I'm not gonna even question it anymore.
When I seen the panel, I was like, yeah, let me hop in. You're talking about the Rockets, like, you know what I'm saying? Two of my kids in the room. I was like, hey, yo, hold it down right now.
Yeah, it's the holidays. The holidays. My kids are home too. They're in no school, so they're probably running around downstairs somewhere. Next up, let's go to this Kings game. It seems like the chat wants to see want us to talk about this Kings game as well. I know you were just about to mention it along with the Rockets. Wham, maybe you just start that off with us.
Yeah, man. So I think you guys were at the EV Analytics. I use this quite a bit as far as like just to look at home splits and away splits, especially in like first half. Yeah, and they show at the house, the Kings are legit. I mean, I think they're 10-2 ATS at the house. And man, look, I like to go with the trend. You know, trends are your friend. And a team that possibly going up against an inferior team in the Charlotte Hornets, even though they do have LaMelo back. If I'm not mistaken, that he's going to play in. We got to keep an eye on. I know Terry Rozier is questionable, so that's interesting there. He was doing a lot of the distributing for the team because I think he already has cohesiveness with guys. They're just allowing LaMelo to score. But maybe this is a PRA day for LaMelo on the prop side, on their side. But I'm thinking to take the side here with the Kings first half. Just follow the trend, take the first half, and it's a cross country trip as well. So I know it might have a little advantage there for the Kings there on that regard too.
Yeah, that's a good point. The one thing though, like that, probably Ski, maybe even Austin knows about this one, but the first game home off a long road trip is one of the things that we typically fade, right? I mean, this is one thing. I think I already have it up there. So, let's say home favorite. Shoot, what is it? What is that trend? Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's one trend that I typically like to fade. It usually involves like the below average teams when they come off a long road trip or a heavy road travel, and they come back, and especially if they won their last game, when they come back home, it's a good fade spot.
Here's the
That's how I was
trend
liking the Bulls yesterday, and then you know how that went.
Bulls jacked this up. But that's another story. So this is the trend that I was looking for. So since 2018, teams off of a road trip of 4 games or longer, now they're the home favorite, and they're going against a team that's actually on the second leg of back-to-back games. So the way that I was looking at this, I just feel like it might be that situation where, because if you look at the straight up and the ATS, the home favorites are winning. They're just not covering. I feel like the books are over adjusting because of the situation, right? Mm-hmm. You would think that the home team coming back home would be playing better. And then the other thing is the opponent is on the second leg of back-to-back, so they continue to adjust the line a little bit more against that team. Now you have a heavy favorite who I feel like shouldn't be a double-digit favorite in this spot, regardless of who they're playing. I know, like you guys mentioned, Rozier is questionable. Even if he doesn't play, they got LaMelo and Hayward back, right? And this is another game with them with legs under the, getting their legs under them. It's a travel spot. They're coming from Denver. So it's sort of mixed signals, but how do I mean, is there a way to kind of not fade this Kings team in this spot here? Do you guys have anything on the Kings side that says like, oh, I got to take the Kings as double-digit favorites here?
Well, I can actually speak to sort of the same angle, and it's a system that I've been paying close attention to the last couple of years, and it's like a fading a fatigue factor situational spot, and that's a team that's on the second half of a back-to-back, or the third game in 4 nights, or fourth game in 6 nights, fifth game in 8 nights, and on the road especially, and it's been really profitable to fade them when they're on the road and they're off the win. So there's that letdown component to it. And there's another angle there is if there was travel across time zones. So the Hornets are in the situation, right, playing in Denver in the Mountain Time Zone yesterday, and now traveling to the Pacific Time Zone. So those are all historically spots that you can fade and be profitable. But if you take a look at these lines, I mean, the market is pricing these in. These lines are heavy. Kings -10. The Hawks are in the spot too, fading the Magic, because the Magic, obviously got that win yesterday against the Celtics. So the Hawks, that's being reflected in that heavy line, -7. Suns as well. The Lakers got that win yesterday. Now they're on the road on the second half of a back-to-back. So the market's really pricing in. So it's getting kind of tricky, and that's why you're probably seeing the tide turn on some of this, and they're not performing as well as they used to.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Did you have a look on this game here?
I really didn't. Shockingly, I was kind of leaning towards the under in this game. I feel like it's 240.5. It's a huge number. I understand that it is Charlotte, a team that doesn't really play a lot of defense. Sacramento Light's getting up and down the floor, but I think for me, that kind of the one thing that did stick out is Sacramento's actually pretty good at defending the 3-point line. They're number 1 as far as 3-point attempts allowed per game, which they only give up, I think it was like around 28 per game. They're number, let's see here. They only give up about 11 makes per game as well, which is top 10. The percentage is a little bit higher at 36.8, which ranks number 25. But I couldn't get to a side here. If you put a gun to my head, I would go with Charlotte just taking the points, especially at a number of 10, even if they are without Terry Rozier. But I was shockingly leaning towards the under in this game.
No, I get it. It makes sense to me. I think this might be the highest total for the both teams this season. But it kind of makes sense, right? Because LaMelo's back, so they're going to push the pace. Their offense is going to be more efficient. Yeah. But at the same time, this is a bad travel spot for the Kings, so that's probably going to bring down the pace a little bit. As well as going from altitude to another road game as well. That should probably push towards the under.
Is that something you can look up on a query? Teams come in on a back-to-back after Denver.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Let's look at that. So we go PA. And To the under, 4-2 to the under so far this season.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
a good
it
point.
makes sense to me.
And you look at the team total here, against their opponent. Actually, I don't know why it would be in that way, but they're 5-1 to the under their team total. So the Kings team total under, and the game that they went over by the hook.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a good point.
That's a good angle. I'm looking at it over like the course of the whole database, and then I'm looking at, okay, so it's rest equals 0, and previous team opponent is the Nuggets, and previous is away, and it's hitting at a 56.2%.
To the under?
56.2%.
That's a good look. That is a good look. Would you go team total or the full? Were you looking towards the team total or the full game under?
I would probably look towards a Hornets team total under. I don't hate the full game either.
Yeah.
I think you can't go wrong both ways.
Damn. What other show is going to tell you that type of information, guys?
Off the hip like that. You know what I mean? Last game went under 232 and a half.
That's fucking dope.
That's crazy.
I
like that look. I'm writing that down, fellas. I appreciate it.
My model likes the under. I got systems on the over, so I was a little conflicted. But man, I don't know. I think I can get to the under now.
Yeah.
After thinking it through a little bit.
I like it. All right.
Yeah, I like that angle. The back-to-back against the Nuggets. Previous game against the Nuggets. I like that move.
Yeah, it's a good look. Yeah, I that's the way. And with that said, then we would think it would probably be a tighter game, right? So that's why I was kind of leaning towards the Hornets. But I have a question for you guys. I asked this on the Triple Double show too earlier. All right, so the Hornets are currently, I believe they're 10.5 point favorites Kings are 10.5 point favorites to the Hornets. The Sixers were 10.5 point favorites to the Hornets at home just a few days ago. Like, do we feel like the Hornets and the Kings and the Sixers should be valued the same in this spot here? Or do you think there's like other stuff that's messing with the line a little bit? Like,
I think it's the fatigue factor I was telling you about.
Yeah.
They're baking
like they added it into the line. Yeah, that's what he was saying. And some of these lines don't make sense. Like this one right here, 10-point favorites.
Yeah.
I know they lost so many games, and Charlotte probably are looking to tank, but they're still going to be competitive. So I love what Austin was saying about that being added into the line with the Lakers game as well. It's kind of like we're seeing that throughout this card.
Like Hawks -7. Like, how could you make the Hawks -7 with the way they've been playing lately? So, yeah, they got that priced in.
So at some point, we got to take advantage of that because they're over adjusting, right? They would be over adjusting.
Right. Out of all those, which ones you guys think is like the more over adjusted then,
Yeah.
What do you think?
I know Orlando's this is a third game in 4 nights, right?
Yep. I think it's all of their third game in 4 nights. All the ones that we talked about: the Hornets and the Hornets, the Magic, and the Lakers.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, well, let's get what game was this? Kings Hornets. Okay, so let's get to another game here. Austin, did you talk about your best play already, or?
I'm on the Rockets first half.
Okay.
I was on the under for the Bucks game, and I think I got there with the Cavs and the Jazz under. My numbers liked it, my systems liked it. I was just scared of Donovan Mitchell just going ape shit on the Jazz. And
do we want to look at the Jazz team total under then at that point? But Munaf, you went through yours, right? You had the first half.
Yeah.
Under.
First half for the Rockets. Yeah.
Okay. And Wham, yours was
Jabari over 2.5 threes, and that Hawks. The Rockets first half, man. It's just a good trend. I'm thinking to take that Kings first half too, but after hearing you guys, I think the under, maybe first half under and full game under or something like that, maybe even better.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so let's go into the chat. Let's see what game do you guys want to talk about. I kind of want to look towards the Cavs Jazz, maybe a team total under on the Jazz side. Maybe let's look at that real quick because all right, so we got We got the Jazz here. They're on the road, and if we look at how they've been playing lately, they've been kind of mixed, huh? Wins and losses all throughout, but majority. Look at that. Typically, we see a lot of overs with them, and then the last few games, four of the last 6, they went under. This one went into OT. I think that went actually over in regulation though. And then we know the Cavs, they play really well at home.
Yeah, that defense is really coming together.
Exactly. So even through overtime, I had this game under too. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of the last 10 went under. And with that, their opponents' team totals went under as well for the most part, except for this Pacers one. I think I don't know. So someone said I was on Jay's show the other day, not too long ago, and someone was like, "Look ahead spots are not real." What are you guys' thoughts on that? Because there's a point where the Pacers scored 30 points in the first 3 quarters each, and then in the fourth quarter when it mattered, they locked them down, right? And to me, it was like more like, all right, we got the Mavs up next. I feel like this is a key game against another top tier opponent. I don't know. Maybe it was a look ahead. They were just like, let's just chill for the first part of the game, see if we can manage a W. But if not, then we gotta try hard in the fourth quarter. What are your thoughts on look aheads? And basically from that aspect, do you guys think look ahead spots are real?
I think for me in the NBA, it's if you're going up against whether it's a revenge angle, a playoff revenge angle, or if you're going into a game against like a top tier team, whether it's like the Milwaukee Bucks, the Golden State Warriors, the Boston Celtics going into the Garden, something like that. I believe it more in the NFL rather than the NBA. I kind of look at the NFL this weekend. I faded both the Cowboys and the Eagles, at least on the spread, because they're matching up against each other this upcoming week. So I know for NBA, it's a lot more games than it is than the NFL, but I don't really weigh that too heavily into my handicapping.
That's a good point. How about you guys?
I don't weigh that too much, but I wouldn't say that it's not real. I mean, I think there's definitely some components there, and that could be some research that we can do, Ronald, on the SDQL, seeing what kind of angles that we can see and what the data tells us. But I mean, I being on the first game of a back-to-back and if the next team is either like a divisional team or, a team that they have a heavy rivalry with, or one of the top tier teams like Munaf was saying, I mean, I think there's something to it. I don't know how much, I don't know if I'd weigh it that heavily, but I think there's something to it.
Yeah, because if you think about it, especially on the second leg of back-to-back games, there's a reason why these teams know who's going to be sitting already the day before. They're fucking looking ahead, right?
Yeah,
that's the point. So I don't know. That's just my thing. Did you have a take on that, Wham?
No, I agree with everything you guys were saying. I mean, it's 82 games. Some of these games don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is, So I totally agree with you guys.
Yeah, and even Draymond said shit like, when the opponent's top players aren't playing, we're not going to try hard. He literally said that in the interview. So look aheads to me are real. I don't know exactly. We can't put science behind it and say it matters this many points, but that's just real in my opinion. But with that said, Cavaliers here and the Jazz, I feel like I was looking more towards the team total under on the Jazz side for the most part. What are you guys' thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I like the under overall. Cavs is a strong unders team, and it's been a profitable system to fade a team off or a team that just came off an overtime win. They tend to go under, and their defense is strong. I mean, I think that's the handicap. That's pretty simple handicap there. I make the total like 215. So I think at 220, getting a good amount of value there. Like I said, the only concerns I had was Donovan Mitchell going crazy on him. But at the end of the day, trusting the numbers, trusting Cavs like number one defensive rating. Yep, in the league.
Yep.
I think with Olynyk for the Jazz is questionable, and without him, they lose a lot of the energy he brings to the offensive side. So I would like that even more if he's out.
The other thing too, you mentioned the overtime game. Mitchell and Garland, they put up over 40 minutes,
Yep.
so there could be that fatigue there. Did you have a look on this one?
Yeah, I agree about the under in this game. And if you kind of take a look at, looking at those stats that the Cavs obviously are the best team defending the paint when you have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen anchoring your rim protection, right? And for Utah, they're dead last as far as defending the paint. But I think if Kelly Olynyk's not able to go in this game, and if Walker Kessler is going to start this game, I think that does give some type of rim protection to the Utah Jazz because this guy, Walker Kessler, is over 7 feet. He has the ability to block shots. We've seen it throughout the season. If you guys have been watching the Utah Jazz games,
Yeah,
where
For sure. Yeah.
the length just bothers other teams, and
He's
outside
a
of
bully,
that,
bro.
yeah, he is. And then if you take a look at the 3-point defense for both of these teams, I was shocked to see that they rank a lot of the metrics in top 10. 3-point percentage allowed, both of these are in top 10. Makes allowed, they're in top 10 as well, and attempts allowed, they're in top 10. So this might be an ugly game. It might be like first one to 100 or 105 points wins this game.
yeah. No, I agree. I definitely agree. Wham, did you have any takes on this one? Maybe a prop.
Our guy LJ from H-Town in here, he asked us, Wham, do you like the Garland double-double? Hit last 2 times. We're going back to the well with that again, bro. It's funny, too, because now that you guys were talking, I kind of looked up to see why wouldn't I be on this, because I haven't played this yet, but I'm going back to the well with it after hearing what you guys have to say. I do have some concerns with that rest situation coming off the overtime, having heavy minutes with the Garland and Mitchell. But what I will say is, like you said, Austin, I expect Milton to try to really drive it on these guys' throats and just pretty much do it all offensively. And then the assist comes from our guy, Darius Garland. And right now, over the last 5 games, Utah Jazz are ranked 25th and allowing opponents assists. I expect my guy to get that same type of treatment. He's been getting it over the last 2 games, and he hit the double-double too. So I'm just going to follow that trend, expect the Garland double-double to still be, not valued at where it should be because of, I believe he's going to have most of the playmaking responsibilities today, especially the way we expect the revenge there to be for Donovan Mitchell. So I like this Garland double-double, man. Last time we got it at plus 220. I'm expecting to be something around plus 180 right now. I haven't, again, locked it in yet, but that's something I'm about to be making official for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at his game log here. The last time he put up 40 minutes, the following game, he did hit that double-double. So looks like that fatigue doesn't affect it. Maybe it affects his scoring a little bit, but he's still distributing the ball when it matters the most for them. So it's not so if we look at the game saying that all right, he's gonna be fatigued, he's not gonna hit that double-double. That's not the case here. He's done it already before.
Good looking, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on, Lay. There's a lot of Houston representation in here, so I just want to say, go Astros, go Astros. We need to get some Swisha House or some Bun B playing in the back, UGK playing in the background after this.
Yeah, we swinging in the rain tonight, man. Houston going up, bro.
I'm outnumbered. I am outnumbered. I'm like the only one in the Pacific Northwest right now. All right, so yeah, that's a good look. I think that's a good point there with Garland double-double, LJ. So Chris in the chat here, previous margin 25.
And I'm getting that at plus 200. I'm locking it in now.
For the double-double?
For the double-double for Garland.
2-1. Yeah. You'd expect Markkanen and Donovan Mitchell to have good games going up against their former teams here tonight. So if you want to, think of their props, Markkanen, I think, is at 21.5. And now it's Mitchell. He was at 28.5 with heavy juice, but probably want to play that up to at least 30, maybe.
Here's a counter narrative that Chris mentioned for the Jazz here. If you're on the Cavs, Jazz are 6.5-point dogs, coming off of a loss where coming off of a previous opponent margin.
I think after a team that's lost by 25 or more points.
That they lost by 25 or more? No,
or I think any team.
Okay, let me see. What was the syntax there?
Previous opponent. So they. Why didn't he just do? Why would he do that?
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so the previous their opponent blew out their opponent
No,
last.
no. So I don't know what that was confusing to me. Okay, so this is coming off of a game where they lost by 25 or more. That's the Jazz. They lost by 25 or more in the previous game. Is that correct?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So they lost by 26. So teams that lost by 25 or more this season, 18, 10, and 1 ATS, 17 and 12 straight up. Let's see if there's a dog. 13 and 5 ATS, 6 and 12, 12 and 6 for the under. So that points towards the under at least. But this is pretty strong for the Jazz there as far as the spread goes. That's a good call out. That is a good call out. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty interesting. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, it makes sense, right? If you have a team that's coming off of a blowout loss, they want to probably lock in defensively. A lot of them are blowouts, right? Like they probably gave up 110, 120 plus points, and you want to come out and play defense. So I think it's gonna be a high intensity game. Where we talked about the trade with Donovan Mitchell, and from Utah to Cleveland, guys like Lauri Markkanen and those guys being involved in those trades. I expect those guys to lock in defensively, and they want to show up the other team or the organization, the front office, and let them know, hey, why did you trade me? So I'm looking at Donovan Mitchell props here tonight, as well as Lauri Markkanen. I really like Lauri Markkanen threes here tonight.
For sure. Like, why did you trade me? Have me rolling dope? You don't know what's funny though. Because Lauri is going to bring that energy today for sure.
Yeah, that shit makes sense. Fuck. Now I don't want to touch this game at all. This might be just one that we watch. I don't know. That's a good point though. That is a good point. All right, that's that game. I don't think I'm gonna play that one at all. There's a lot of counter narratives in that one, but that's a lot of good angles that everyone brought up though. So that helps us moving forward with other games. All right, so we're heading up to almost time to end the show. But you guys have any last games that you want to talk about, break down before we cut out?
We talked about the games that I'm on. So I'm on the Rockets first half and the under on the two games, but I had the displeasure of trying to write an article about the Lakers Suns game last night for the Action Network, and with all the injury reports and all that, had to try to dive in for different angles. So obviously, just want to mention Booker was just announced out, and so Mikal Bridges, last two games, had 24 and 25 shot attempts respectively with Booker out. So I mean, that's something to look at. He didn't shoot very well.
I was just gonna say that. I remember that because someone, I think it might have been Mitch, that said take Bridges threes over, right? Because I think he had like 10 more than 10 attempts in both times where Booker was out. So he gets the opportunity. He just didn't make on that game. It might be because they're just going to focus. Who else is going to be there offensively, right? No Cam Johnson.
No.
I think Campaign is out too still, right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So there's really no offense there other than there's no offense. Like,
there's no offense.
I don't know.
No Booker, no offense, bro.
No Booker, no offense.
No Booker, no offense.
You got Biyombo like up front, like, man, I don't even know who's going to score. Yeah. So, he's going to get a lot of usage. I look towards his points. I haven't looked at the lines yet, but points and 3-point props or something I'd be interested in there.
Yeah, Bridges. These two teams matched up, I think, last month. Bridges, but that was with Booker in the lineup. He played 41 minutes, had 25 points, 10 of 17 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3-point line, and that was a game without Chris Paul.
Yeah.
It was so close to that triple double with Westbrook, man. I had that last night. So do I go back to the well with that again tonight, fellas? Especially if there's no Aiden out there. What do you guys think?
Hey, which one? What play?
The triple double with Westbrook. Westbrook was 9, 9, and 8 yesterday.
I think it may be more. Yeah, I think so. I think it may be a free roll. I'm starting to think that LeBron may sit in this game. That just
depends what the line is saying. It probably is.
Yeah, because they have a game on Wednesday, they have a game on Friday as well, and then the Christmas Day game as well. So they have a game every other night for the rest of this week. And they got the victory last night, but I think this might be a free roll for you, Wham, that if LeBron's ruled out,
right,
Westbrook gets that triple double.
Hey, look at their ATS as a dog. 6, 12, and 1 as a dog. If we
Do away dog. Do an away dog.
look at all these lines, so like all the short lines, so they covered the dogs of less than 3, but the rest of them are just nasty.
They add in away. They're like 2-9 against spread. Yeah.
Fuck.
Nasty.
I see it 3-9.
That's gross.
Or 2-9, yeah.
Yeah, and Suns are good at the house, but yeah, with their injury situation, it's a tough one, man. It's
Bridges is at 2.5 3-point shots made at plus 125.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you know what? Maybe I'll go out on a limb, being the only Laker fan here, and say that maybe this is the one that the line is priced too far in with that event, that history that we were talking about earlier with the roll back to backs, because Booker is out, the offense is gone.
Yeah,
maybe that's the reason.
Well, look at this shit though. Look at Raptors back to back.
I hate the Lakers though. I'm just trying to get that disclaimer.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Well, dude, I think we had a really great show. Thanks, Austin, for popping in. Munaf, Wham, you guys always welcome to be here. Anything to promote before we cut out? Wham, I know you do your daily show at night. You're doing them daily at night, right? Or nightly?
Yeah, on Friday. Yeah, Friday. Doing the show Friday late at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So really late there. WNBA at night's been great. Everybody's welcome to join in. Anyone at all. If you're a viewer, hop in the chat, hop in the stream. It doesn't matter. Then also Pub Hub. We're doing the Pub Hub within an hour at NBA Pub Hub. I will do it every Monday on the Pub show. So that's it, man. Yeah, man. I appreciate you as well.
Yeah, I like
man. You already know, brother.
I like my time slot because it doesn't mess with Jay's. It doesn't mess with none of your guys' shows. So it's like perfect spot for mine. Hopefully people continue to come through and watch. Munaf, anything to promote? I know you got a show as well. You got a podcast as well with your company.
Yeah, Sports Gambling Podcast Network. We do the NBA Gambling Podcast Monday through Friday. Usually you'll go around 11 a.m. Eastern time, which is sometimes a bad time with all the injuries that do pop up after that.
Yeah,
but hey, we break down every single game every single day, Monday through Friday. So come check us out at SGPN NBA on Twitter and NBA Gambling Podcast on your podcast feeds.
Nice. And Austin, I know you have I already forgot what it's called, but I know you got something going on where you give out a lot of information, trends, and all that stuff as well. Go ahead and talk about that before we cut out.
Yeah, sure. I still have my work with the Action Network. I write an article for them about once a week, and then I'm on the staff best bets. I contribute to that every once in a while. So yeah, you could check my work out there. I also have a Dub Club service. They've been treating me really well. So yeah, I provide extensive write-ups on all my picks. Almost every day. So give it a shot. It's you get a 7-day free trial. And yeah, they deliver it straight to your text message.
Yeah, I think your Action Network too, especially since last year, your Action Network write-ups, dude, they've been hitting at a high rate. I remember last year, especially you were on like a crazy run. So definitely check out his information on Action Network as well. With that said, guys, this is the end of the show. We broke down a few games here, a lot of stuff that I like that I didn't see earlier. Shout out to everyone that popped in the chat as well. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button before you bounce. Make sure you check out the links in the description as well. With that said, I always have to end with this. Please remember, whether you fade us or follow us, it is on you to make that call. Good luck on all your action. Till next time, peace.
Peace.